Wow, I cannot upload a video consistently. OnePlus has established themselves as a company that delivers flagship level performance and a smartphone for an affordable price. Recently, the latest OnePlus phones such as the OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro have increased dramatically in price from the $350 that the OnePlus once had started at. But if you're still looking for a OnePlus phone and are on a tight budget, there's still hope with the OnePlus 5. Hey, how's it going everyone, and welcome back to another video on the Infinite Tech YouTube channel. And in this video, we're going to be reviewing the OnePlus 5 and seeing if it's still worth it in 2019. So without any further ado guys, let's get started with the video. The OnePlus 5 doesn't do anything exceptional, but I think it gets everything right. Well, almost everything. Starting with the build quality, the phone is made from aluminum and takes a lot of design cues from the iPhone 7 Plus. A little too many in my opinion. The phone doesn't look the most up to date with large top and bottom bezels, and it isn't the slimmest phone either. But it feels exceptionally well in the hands and sturdy enough to withstand a few hits. To the front of the device, there is a respectable 5.5-inch 1920 by 1080 OLED display that is vibrant and is very sharp with really good viewing angles. It also gets pretty bright, so using it outdoors is not a problem. There's also an earphone and a 16-megapixel f2.0 selfie camera and a fingerprint scanner to the bottom. The back of the device has a dual camera setup, which we will talk about later in this video, a flash, and a OnePlus logo. The left side of the device has the familiar alert slider and volume rockers, and the right side houses the well-positioned power button. Finally, on the bottom of the device, there's an average sounding speaker, a USB-C port, and a headphone jack. Overall, the build quality is really nice and feels really sturdy even in 2019. I know that many flagships these days are coming out with glass backs and very premium designs, especially bezel-less designs, but the OnePlus 5 does hold up very well, and if you're not all about the bezels or the latest and greatest in design, I think this phone will hold up really well for you, and overall I think the design is pretty good. Design and build aside, the OnePlus 5 is running Oxygen OS, which is OnePlus's own skin that they put on top of Android. In my opinion, this is one of the best skins on the market. It beats out LG's by far, and even in my opinion, it beats out Samsung One UI because it's very clean, it has some nice customization features, but is also true to stock Android. The OnePlus 5 is currently running on Android 9 Pie, which I think is incredible for a device that's over 2 years old. There's still some phones like the LG G6 and some others that haven't even gotten upgraded to Android Pie yet. And the best thing is that the OnePlus 5 is rumored to get Android 10 in 2020. And I really appreciate the continued support by OnePlus, and it makes me able to recommend this phone to people who want to buy it now and have it a couple years down the line, and I think it'll still hold up well as long as OnePlus continues to support it as it is doing now. Powering the device is a Snapdragon 835 chip with an Adreno 540 GPU, 8GB of RAM, and 128GB of storage on this model. Trust me, these specs definitely show in performance. Now I know that some of you guys may think that the 835, it's a 2-generation-year-old processor and it might not hold up to the 855 or even the 845 today, but trust me guys, this phone does not disappoint in performance. The phone is super smooth with almost no stutters, and it still runs even the most intensive games without any problem. Multitasking is excellent with 8GB of RAM, and the lighter users will have plenty of storage. For me, 128GB was more than enough, but I know now there's some phones coming out with 256GB or even 512GB of storage, so if you are a very heavy user, you might want to look elsewhere, but for most people, I feel like 128GB won't be that bad. If you're looking for a near-stock Android phone with smooth performance and can still run the latest games, I will look no further than the OnePlus 5. Battery life is also very good on this phone. The phone is equipped with a 3300 mAh battery, which is small compared to today's standards, but it is perfect for this phone. In my use, I usually experience around 4 to 5 hours of screen on time, and I was definitely able to get through a full day with having about 20 to 30% left. The OnePlus 5 has a dual camera setup on the back with a 16-megapixel f1.7 main camera that has electronic image stabilization and autofocus. The second telephoto lens is a 20-megapixel f2.6 aperture camera with no stabilization. Both cameras can record video up to 2160p at 30 frames per second and have HDR. The front camera is a 16 megapixel sensor with an f2.0 aperture and comes with electronic image stabilization. It can record video up to 1080p. Now, images from these cameras are decent, but don't really compare to today's standards. They have an average dynamic range and overall lack detail, and also appear to be slightly on the softer side. Also, color appears to be pretty saturated, which some people may prefer, but honestly, I prefer more of the natural tones that come from phones such as the Pixel or even iPhones. The front camera is decent at best, but honestly, if you're a selfie person, I would not recommend this phone to you at all. Pictures are very grainy, they lack detail, and it's honestly not one of the best cameras out there. However, if you're not a selfie person, then I think you can just ignore the front camera and you'll be satisfied at best with the rear-facing cameras. However, one thing I will note is that a lot of people have downloaded the Google Camera APK onto the OnePlus phones, which seem to have dramatically increased camera performance for them. I know OnePlus is continuing to update these cameras with software updates, but if any of you guys have tried out the Google Camera APK on your OnePlus 5 or really any device, let me know how much of a difference that has made for you in the comments below. So overall, guys, I'd say the camera is passable, but if you're an avid photo shooter, then I really wouldn't recommend this phone. And I look towards the Pixel 3a for about $100 more, which you will get really nice cameras for a pretty affordable price. And finally, a couple other miscellaneous items that I wanted to touch on while using this phone. For one, the auto rotation is pretty inconsistent. For some reason, if I want to click on a photo and switch to landscape mode or switch it back to portrait mode, it just doesn't flip, and it takes a couple tries to get it to the right orientation. I'm not really sure why this is. Hopefully it's just a software issue that OnePlus can address in the future, but it was weird and I really haven't experienced this on any other phone. I will say that the fingerprint scanner towards the bottom is really nice and responsive, and this phone also has face unlock, but I'd be skeptical about its security because it happens almost instantaneously, and for me that just doesn't feel very secure. Call quality is also very good, and I have no trouble hearing the person on the other end and vice versa. Like I said at the start, the single bottom firing speaker is average at best. It does get pretty loud, but at louder volumes it is quite tinny, and it definitely lacks low end. Okay, I think that's it. Well guys, if you're looking to pick up a solid phone in 2019, I'd definitely recommend the OnePlus 5. It is still being supported by OnePlus and receiving software updates, and has flawless performance in both day-to-day tasks and in gaming. Battery life is also very strong, and the display is vibrant and sharp, even though it is only 1080p. I would highly recommend this phone in 2019 to any of you all who are looking for a phone around $200, and I think you guys will really like it. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and sorry for the inconsistent uploads once again. Hopefully I can get back on track. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.